who went from sleeping rough on a bench in London to raising £1 million for charity and then being presented with an MBE in Windsor Castle by Prince William? The one and only answer is Jay Flynn, who, after spending some time homeless, was helped by a charity, met and married and had a son, and then embarked upon a career as a quizmaster like no other. Jay is another character putting the great into Great Britain, triumphing over adversity and making the world a better place. And he joins me now to tell a story that must surely sometime soon be the plot of a movie. Jay, thanks for... I must shake your hand. Such a good story.
I think it does...
Take us back to the beginning.
It does need a movie script, doesn't it? Sometimes it just genuinely does seem unbelievable. And I still think that I'm going to wake up on the Saturday that I created the original Facebook post and none of this would have happened, and it would have just been I've slept for the last 21 months.
But take us back a bit. Rewind a little bit. How did you come to be homeless and sleeping from time to time on a bench?
So in the sort of late 2000s, I was going through a relationship breakup where I'd come away from London and I was living in the northeast, and it hit me hard. We'd been together, we were engaged to be married. Everything seemed perfect. And it crumbled, and with that went my mental health. I fell into depression. But in the 2000s, we weren't really able to talk about depression or mental health problems. It was still very taboo for anyone to talk about it. So I never sought any help. All the people around me I didn't trust. So I decided that it was best for me to, that's the short version, is to take myself out onto the streets of London. And I was out there for 18 months until a homeless charity found me.
How did they... It's another perfect little detail, really, the way in which they made contact with you.
Yeah, for me, I just kept myself to myself. I slept on the embankment, which I called number 3 Riverside View, because it was in the unique way that we always number our houses. It was the second bench along, so that was number 1. This is number 3. But I wanted to do that to give myself a home. So that was what I would call home. And I was there for 18 months. And eventually they found me, but they only found me because they didn't think anyone would be stupid enough to sleep in the most exposed sort of place, in Westminster and in London. So they left a card. They didn't disturb me sleeping, just left some details. We're up the road. We can, we might be able to help you. And it took me 3 days to walk through the door because I still didn't trust and still had nothing in me. But I promised myself I'll walk in that door and I'll see what they've got to say. And they kept every single promise that they made me. And that's what restored my faith in not just people, but also myself as well, that I could trust again.
So what were the next steps? You made contact with the charity in London,
yeah,
I presume, and then that opened another chapter in your life, did it not?
Well, I was the pure definition of a homeless person. I was a person without a home. If I'd have been a drug addict or an alcoholic or had any other kind of issues, I would have been helped and resettled very quickly. But there is so much red tape and legalities and things you have to prove to go through, well, actually, let's try and work with you. So it took another 6 months. But they worked really hard. They got me into temporary accommodation. They then carried on working with me, got me into a house share. And then through that, I started to rebuild my life. And fast forward, I moved to the Northwest, got myself a very good job, some of the best friends you could possibly want.
Wow.
Married, have a 4-year-old, and then in what is the best mistake of my life, created a Facebook post last year.
So put that into context for us. It was because of lockdown, wasn't it? And you were, like many people, you were thinking about, but there's the pub.
Yeah, so I mean, we, with my business partner, a friend of mine, we had a pub that we were running in Darwin, where we're from, in Lancashire. And we gave the pub up 3 weeks, handed the keys back 3 weeks before the first lockdown, which in hindsight is the best thing that I could ever have done, because we would have been in a horrendous situation. And my heart goes out because I still know a lot of people who work in pubs.
So it was difficult. You were in a difficult patch with the pub anyway.
Yeah, the pub was a financial money pit. And as much as we were working so hard to do things, we just knew that if we didn't... in the January, we made the decision. We said, if we don't come out of it now, we're going to be in financial ruin. And I said, I'm not prepared to allow any of us to end up in a situation where I could end up back, where I came from. So we gave up the pub. But Thursday was my night out of the week, and it was the best night in the pub as well, quiz night. So
That's the magic word, isn't it? Quiz night.
yeah. So I went back, joined my quiz team, and then after 2 weeks, Boris Johnson makes his speech on the Friday saying, I'm shutting all hospitality. My instant response was, well, what do I do now? Because I can't go out my one night of the week where I can go out, have a laugh, have a bit of fun. So at work on the Saturday, me being me, went, wonder if I could do something online, you know, get some of the local quiz teams around here in Darwin. Created a Facebook post, set it off on its way, you know, for my friends, and forgot all about it. And then on the Monday morning, I get a message from a random person saying, can you tell me more about your quiz on Thursday night? Okay, looked at it. 700 people interested in the event on the Monday. I was like, okay, that's a bit bigger than I was expecting, but we'll run with it.
It'd turn out to be the average pub, that, isn't it?
Well, this is, I was like...
Probably what you do on a quiet night.
But I was like, they probably won't turn up. It's Facebook. Everyone just... I don't even know how this has got out into the public domain. My boss at the time said, it'd be 1,000 by the time we finish work or by the time we get home. It wasn't. It was 10,000 that Monday night. Then Boris makes the now historic speech, I'm locking down the country, don't go out. By the time that finished, it was 20,000. Following morning, it was 70,000, and it just kept going up and up. By the time I presented that first quiz on Thursday, 26th of March, there was over 500,000 people
No way.
interested in the event. And the unofficial figure, because I didn't know what I was doing and we didn't record any data, but from friends who were watching along, the unofficial figure was 300,000 people were watching between YouTube and Facebook. This idiot just sat there going, OK, then, don't know what I'm doing here, but question number one, what is this? You know, and it was just incredible, but I still thought it would be a one-off. I still thought that was it. I'll do this one, then we'll find something else to do. Oh, there it is. Yeah, that's me. Yeah. That's the first one.
Talk about being thrown at the deep end.
Yeah. So when you were asking that first question, you knew that you were going out to, well, it's anybody's guess, but maybe 300,000, 500,000 people.
Yeah, when I you can see the numbers there. When I turned on, behind the scenes on YouTube, you can see how many people are waiting. There was 5,000 people, and I just went,
Look at it.
I'm in trouble here. What have I done? No. That was my word. That was my sentence of the week. What have I done? What have I done? What have I done?
Was there a winner?
Well, this is it. Friends of mine were saying, well, how do we win your quiz? Because normally we do quite well. And I went, oh, yeah, I can't sit there and go, and 177,430th place is, you know. So I just straight away, I just said, right, what we need to do is people can get together in their own individual groups and pick a winner from those. They don't need to worry about, you know, winning overall, but share that pride. There's even a hashtag running now that's the hashtag 50 Club. So people who get 50 out of 50 on a Thursday or a Saturday night, 'cause we're still going strong now, they'll now use that if they get 50 out of 50. It's an incredible community that I've ended up creating.
Now, you said you thought it would only happen once, but it hasn't only happened once, and it continues to happen.
Yeah.
And how did it metamorphose into this incredible fundraising effort?
Yeah, so I finished the first quiz and I just said, look, I've got nothing better to do. If you want me to carry on and do this for the next few weeks or however, here's a proper social media presence now. So come and join us. Let me know what you're thinking. And loads of people did, and the audience then continued at 180,000 for the next sort of few weeks. And a lot of messages I got between those two quizzes was, you've created the most incredible community and incredible platform. You could do so much good with this. And I sat there and thought, yeah, but I don't really know how to do that. So I don't want to start charging people or saying, to play the quiz tonight, to get the link, you have to donate money to charity. That's not what it was about. It was always about keeping the quizzes free. So I just thought, right, well, why not? I have a break in between rounds 3 and 4. I thought, why don't I just put a Just Giving link and a little video or something up? And I did that for quiz number 2 for NHS Charities Together, and in that one night we raised £90,000.
That is literally phenomenal.
So, and that's all I did. I said, right, okay, well, that's incredible. Most I think I've ever raised is £250 up to that point.
And is the £1 million figure that I quoted at the top, is that there or thereabouts?
I think we're about 1.2 million now. Wow. NHS Charities Together, we raised £300,000 for Alzheimer's Research UK. Connection at St Martin's, which is the homeless charity that helped me. We've raised money for them in honour of Diana Award, the Princess Diana Award, but even down to air ambulances across the UK, guide dogs.
That is a serious fundraising initiative you've got going. And then finally, the MBE.
Yeah, it does.
Which I'm imagining in the last 10 minutes of the film when it's made.
Oh, it's just it was an incredible day. I mean, I found out September last year, and I'm rubbish at keeping secrets. And I was 10 minutes away from going live, and in pre-COVID times, they would send you a lovely letter out in the post, but this came through via email, pops up in my bottom corner as I'm about to go live. And I was like, Cabinet Office, I really need to read that before I do anything else. Beautiful citation on there. I thought, oh, okay, right. So I then went live. So I'm now hiding this secret that I just want to go running around and telling everyone, well, I've been made an MBE. What on earth? But that's it. I was just like, people like me don't get made an MBE. I'm just a normal person who just lollies about.
But Jay, it's people like you that should be made an MBE and given these gongs. And are not civil servants that are just doing their job and get given all these gongs. I mean, what an inspiration.
I know.
Neil. I mean, yeah, we're talking about a charity I'm involved in next, and I just think what you've done to raise that amount of money is absolutely extraordinary. But just coming back to the homelessness experience, because you mentioned there about this thing about statutory homeless, and you didn't fit that particular sort of tick the box.
Yeah.
If there's, I mean, now you've got the MBE and you've got this platform, you've got these wonderful. What's the one thing you'd sort of change about homelessness policy then in this country that would help more Jays and people?
The thing I really want to do is I really want to go out on the streets and put out a documentary that. Because it's not just about the statutory stuff, it's also about people's perception.
Indeed.
And what I want to do is I want to change people's perception that every single homeless person out there has a different story.
Yeah,
yes, there are going to be some who are not, not the right kind of people, but there are going to be people like me who just wanted help. And from then on, it needs to be a way of recognising straight away who, okay, so you're a homeless person. Because one of the things I had to go through for a while was I was in Westminster, but I'm not from Westminster. That's not where I was born. But this is where I've been living for 18 months. But they didn't know that because they hadn't seen me there for 18 months. So they then had to see me for, I think it was a further 3 months that I now become a Westminster resident to then move on from there. And that's the, you're here, you're our problem, let's deal with it. That's what it should be.
Neil, the film should be called 3 Riverside View.
Yes, and it should end, the MBE scene should be the last scene of the film, a bit like the end of Star Wars when it ends with them getting a medal from Princess Leia.
That's We're building this quite well. We'll pitch this later.
Brilliant. Jay, absolutely brilliant.
I knew quizzes were the best people in the world.
We talk on here about Great Britons, and you absolutely, you're another contender, one of those who puts the great into Britain. Turning a situation of adversity into something that was positive, not just for you and your wife and your child, but for goodness knows countless
For the country.
Countless people.